welcome to the Upkeep for Monday, October 12th, 2020.
That's right, it's all of the magic news you need in 10 minutes or less.
And hey, it wouldn't be an episode of the Upkeep if we didn't kick it off with some bans, Megan.
That's right. The number one piece of news that we come across most often on the Upkeep these days is yet another ban announcement.
Wow, and people actually sniffed out this ban announcement a few days early because some detectives found a waiting website that was not yet viewable by the public that was like banned and restricted announcement October 12th.
And people were like, I know what this is.
I know what's happening. And sure enough, this morning, the ban hammer was dropped in Standard. Omnath, Lucky Clover, and Escape to the Wilds were banned.
Ooh, goodbye to all of those.
I mean, seriously, it's like taking a deck and it's just digging its grave and saying, see you later.
Yes, exactly. Like really burying.
Yes.
Like, it's like Dracula where they like go to the crypt afterwards, put a good old stake through its heart.
Just to
make
double sure.
This one's not coming back.
Yeah,
Cut off its head.
They could have just banned Omnath and Clover, which is what a lot of people thought, but no, they're like, no, we want to make sure
Escape to the Wilds.
dead.
Kill it.
Kill it dead, yeah, for sure. So, I mean, a lot of people are expecting this, and I think the community overall is very happy with this announcement.
I agree. Well, we're excited to see where the standard format goes from here.
Absolutely.
There are also bans in Historic, though.
Yes.
Omnath has been suspended, so that means that
it's in timeout.
They're trying out banning it. Just a soft guess. I think that one's gonna stick.
Probably.
Teferi, Time Raveler, and Wilderness Reclamation are also banned.
Oh.
And Burning Tree Emissary is unsuspended. Welcome back.
Okay, so BTE coming in off the chair into the game once again. Really key piece of that Gruul deck that was in Historic for a while.
That's right. So perhaps we'll see a resurgence of that.
In Brawl, a ban as well. Omnath, you guessed it, banned in Brawl. They said it was by far the most popular Brawl commander and had a huge win rate over other decks.
Yeah.
And they're like, we want Brawl to be fun and we want it to be diverse, and this was just not occurring while Omnath was in the format.
Goodbye, friend, in all formats. Good day to you.
Good day. Don't let the door hit your ooze on the way out.
So they say about this standard banning, quote, while we did see a marked decline in the win rate of 4-color ramp after the banning of Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath, particularly against red and green aggressive decks and blue-black rogues, Omnath ramp decks continue to have a warping effect on the metagame. Moreover, 4-color Adventures has become the deck with the highest overall win rate and has a favorable matchup against 9 out of 10 of the other top decks that don't play Omnath.
That is wild.
Barf.
I mean, I for one don't know what these other 10 top decks are that don't play.
What quote-unquote 10 decks are you talking about?
They must have just searched for whatever was doing best underneath
They're like, what are the
Omnath,
next 10 things?
which is just like some random stuff people threw together that happened to be winning, I'm sure.
Exactly.
But now, thankfully, we have a lot more room to brew and to make up some cool standard decks now that the menace is gone.
Yeah, another little data point up in here.
Up in here.
Brian Kibler tweeted, if my math is right, there have been more cards banned in the last 12 months than in the past 14 years combined.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and Frank Carson said the math checks out. Out of all cards banned in Standard over the past 15 years, 56% were banned in the past 12 months.
Wow. So if you're feeling ban hangovers, don't worry. Like
Everybody
is. You're correct to feel this way. This is unprecedented in Magic.
We've all gone overboard, and now we're feeling the effects.
I mean, seriously. And I guess now the real question is like, can we put the brakes on this problem that's been occurring fast enough, because R&D is, several years ahead of us in design. So
we'll see.
We'll see what happens.
Up next, the 2020 Grand Finals were this past weekend. Those ran Friday through Sunday. And the winner of that was Austin Bursavich.
Which deck was he playing?
Oh, I wonder which one. It was Omnath Adventures.
Omnath Adventures.
In fact, Omnath Adventures were 5 out of the top 8 decks.
Yep.
They were joined there by Dimir Rogues, which Seth Manfield was playing.
Yes.
And also by 2 copies of this Rogue deck of the weekend that wasn't Rogues. Gruul Adventures, which Emma Handy and Autumn Burchett both piloted to top 8 finishes. And I believe that their team was also Luis Salvato and Pyotr Glogovsky.
But yeah, really impressive win rate through the Swiss.
Yeah.
And then once they got to the top 8, it just didn't hold together.
No, unfortunately. Pretty cool deck.
Yeah, absolutely.
The return of the Cleave.
The Cleave is back.
Was it ever truly gone? I don't know, but it sure is back now.
Austin Bursavage beat Aaron Gertler in the finals, which I think is just really interesting that Aaron made it this far because he was the pioneer of the Teamer Clover deck.
Yeah.
And he actually won DreamHack Anaheim with that deck when nobody knew about it.
Yeah.
Unless they had happened to be watching his stream.
That's right.
So it's like his child had grown up and then turned into this monster that we that we all have to deal with.
This metaphor got weird real quick, but yes.
And he just had to push it out the airlock, aliens. But it was cool to see him, who like kind of invented this deck, having so much success.
And in a field full of really excellent players, there's a lot of talk amongst casters about him potentially being the best pilot of this deck.
Oh, for sure. He said he played it for
the longest and the most matches with it.
Oh, for sure. He had like almost 14,000 matches on Arena.
Whew.
Wow.
Another cool deck of the weekend was Ken Yukihiro playing Neostorm in Historic.
Yes.
Which was very cool. So this is a deck that has been getting a little bit of buzz in the past couple of weeks now. Yeah, it's a combo deck, and one of the coolest things I think about it is, one, it was just great to watch something new and historic that we haven't gotten to see much, but also that the deck is fresh enough that a lot of people think that this deck could get better.
Ooh.
Because it hasn't really been tuned yet. They're like, what is the best version of this deck? We potentially haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, and it can kill as fast as turn 3 depending on your build of it. You use Seagate Stormcaller to copy your spells. You use Neoform to sacrifice that and go find, what's it called?
More of them. Dualcaster Mage.
And then you just copy everything. By the end of all of your copying shenanigans, you've got a huge board full of 3/3s. You give them all haste with something like Tuck Tuck Rubble Fort.
Oh, like, let's all thank you, Ken Yukihiro, playing Tuck Tuck Rubble Fort.
I mean, look, the card's not good enough for Standard. It's not even good enough for Draft.
No.
Good enough for Historic.
Good enough for Historic.
You're so cool to see that deck. We'll see where it goes in the future.
Yeah.
A big announcement on Magic Online. If you're a Magic Online player, or perhaps this will prompt you to become one, Eternal Weekend is coming up. It's going to run October 16th through the 18th and also the 23rd through the 25th. This is vintage and legacy formats, so very old formats that allow you to play with super powerful cards.
Yeah.
And if you want to play in one of these events, it's super cool. You get a God account with access to all the cards you would need in either of these formats to build your deck. It's $25 per event. You do need a Magic Online account to play. But yeah, it's pretty cool if you've ever wanted to dabble in one of these formats. Eric Froelich, who is a member of the MPL, loves Eternal Weekend. So moving online this year.
Prizes include exclusive new artwork versions of oversized cards like Maze of Ith and Library of Alexandria, and lots of play points.
Yeah, so it should be a really fun time if you're looking for a competitive event in one of these older formats, or you're like, oh, I've always wanted to try this.
Exactly. If you've ever wanted to dabble in Legacy, but you're like, I can't afford that.
Nobody can afford that.
But now you can give it a try.
Yeah.
Vintage too, yeah. And finally, you can use the code Zendikar Lands, capital Z, capital L, but all squished together, to get up to 3 full art basic lands. WotC had mistakenly said you could get the full art lands in Quick Draft, but that wasn't actually the case, so they're giving these out now to make up for their mistake.
All right, you always look to the Upkeep. We'll always give you the codes.
That's right.
For free stuff.
Zendikar Lands, baby. Go get those nice lands.
And that's all the news for this week. Thank you so much for listening once again. You can check out our full-length podcast. It's called Good Luck High Five, available anywhere fine podcasts are found. And you can support this show and all of our other work over on patreon.com/GLHFmagic.